Was Ms. Wallace former special ed teacher or former? We'd use the word former. Yeah. Recently retired.
Sonny, I have a present for you. Oh, but I have a present for you. But I have a present for you. That's what it
Don't
is.
you have any presents for the rest of us?
Don't you know, don't they teach you that in kindergarten?
Don't sign that, don't sign that one.
Like, it took us 2 weeks to get that.
Yeah, you need to sign that.
Good afternoon. I'm going to call the Moore County Board of Education regular business meeting to order. We are starting early today, so we'll go straight into having all of our closed sessions at once, and then we'll be back here at 6:30. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I move the board to enter a closed session to discuss confidential personnel matters and to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11 A1, A3, A5, and A6.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? All right, motion carries 7-0. We'll go into closed session. Call the meeting back into session. Welcome to the December 10th regular board meeting for the Moore County Board of Education, and thank you all for coming out today on a cold day, one without school, so it's nice to see the room is full, so thank you. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Dr. Massengill, would you like to introduce your students?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Grimacy, it is a pleasure this evening to introduce two of our students from West Pine Middle, Anderson Brady, a 6th grade student who will be delivering the Pledge of Allegiance, and Jada Dokes, one of our 8th grade students who is going to inspire you this evening. So without further ado, Anderson.
Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When I was asked what inspires me, I struggled trying to figure out what to write, but after a lot of thought, I narrowed it down to 3. My grandma, the struggle present in our world, and success. You may be wondering, why did my grandma inspire me? You see, my grandma's retired, but does not have a lavish retirement. I've watched over the years as she's worked hard to watch the amount of money that she spends. I see her save and forego buying things that she might want to help me and the rest of my family. This is one reason why I feel my education is so important. I want badly to help her attain her goals and dreams. Working hard to get a good education, something that Moore County Schools is helping me with, will help me achieve this goal. I feel strongly that the harder I work, the more likely I can ensure that my mother and grandmother do not have to work as hard in their retirement. They've done so much for me that they deserve anything I can help them with. The next thing that inspires me are the struggles of the world. You may ask, why would these sometimes sad realities be inspiring? This last weekend, I traveled to Washington, D.C. and it started to rain. When we started to walk around the city, I looked over and saw 2 homeless men trying to dry themselves off because they had no shelter from the rain. This situation reminded me of how fortunate many of us are and inspired me greatly because I want to get to the point in life that I can work to help these people who are in need of help. Whether it be homeless or the voiceless who need a helping hand. I feel bad about the conditions that some people have to live in and think about them often. I recognize that education is the key not only to being successful, but to putting myself in the position to help others. The next thing that inspires me is success. The pursuit of success drives me in all that I do. I want badly to be successful as I define success so I can work to pursue my goals and help others. I'm very thankful for the opportunities that our school system and its teachers give me every day. It is my hope that my success will inspire others like me one day. Thank you for your time.
I'll say hi. What's going on?
Picture first.
Pitch first, okay.
Picture first.
Pitch first. Pitch first. Behind you there.
Start down that way.
Jenny, you can start wherever you want.
Thanks for being here.
Start wherever you want. Well done.
Thank you, Jim.
Very well done.
Thanks, sir.
Nice job. Like that shirt.
Can we have a moment of silence for Tim Wallace, who works in maintenance? He lost his wife Pam over the weekend, and she was a retired exceptional educational teacher at Northmore High School. Thank you. This month, we recognize those staff who work behind the scenes to support our school-based staff, teachers, and students every day. Kim Smith and Rebecca Brown. Please join Chair Wallen Miller, I call you Helena, sorry, and Vice Chair Carter to the front. Tim Smith was with Finance and Rebecca Brown with Human Resources are this month's Central Office Engage, Inspire, and Succeed honorees. As a part of the comprehensive review of classified staff salaries, Ms. Smith and Ms. Brown are painstakingly evaluated nearly 600 classified employees' personal files to help ensure accurate data is collected on each employee and standards of equity are implied as the classified salary study is developed, analyzed, and rolled out to employees later this year. That just makes me tired just reading that. They've done all this simultaneously, continuing their regular work, all of which is integral to functioning of the school system. We're grateful for their combined 38 years of experience that guide their work each day. They are the epitome of what Moore County Schools represents: hard work, selfless dedication to a greater cause. Congratulations, Ms. Smith and Ms. Brown. Anita Appenfels and Mike Funday, please stand. They're already standing. And members of the Smith and Brown family. Was your family, is there family present? You guys were clapping when I said that. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next.
Thanks again.
Oh, yes, you do. New script, sorry. Yeah, I used. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right. Brent Gibson. This month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed. That's who I have. Brent Gibson?
I'm sorry. No,
Brent, is he here?
he could not be here tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start this all over. Brent Gibson, this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed Curriculum Instruction honoree, cannot be here, so we will honor him in January. I forgot about that. Thank you. Now, Lee Spencer. Please join Chair Wally Miller and Vice Chair Carter at the front. There he is. Lee from the Child Nutrition is this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed Operations honoree. Mr. Spencer has been with Child Nutrition for more than 23 years. As a warehouse manager, his primary responsibility is receiving and storing foods and supplies, which he later delivers to our 23 schools on a weekly basis. During the 2 hurricanes this past fall, Mr. Spencer worked tirelessly with the help of our child nutrition staff to move thousands of pounds of food from freezers that were without power to freezers that had power. And then he moved it all back again. This is not just his work ethic during emergencies. Before he leaves for a day off, he always says, "Call me if you need me." Most staff and students do not see the contributions Mr. Spencer makes on a daily basis. However, his willingness to go above and beyond makes him the perfect example of Engage, Inspire, Succeed motto. Congratulations, Mr. Spencer. Jan Lovelady, please stand, and members of the Spencer family, if you can please stand and be recognized at this time. Thank you for all you do.
So much for everything you do for us.
Okay.
Thanks much, Lee.
Well, we had 23 more years.
Maybe.
Typically, we don't have a student honoree for the month of December, but we do honor those students who have achieved a statewide or national award of recognition. So this month, we have a special recognition for Carmen Alder. Can you please come up front and join Chair Walla Miller and Vice Chair Carter? Carmen Alder, a sophomore from Pinecrest High School, is this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed student honoree. In just her first 3 semesters, Carmen set school records in 5 different events. Among her accolades, Carmen has won 4 4A North Carolina High School Athletic Association championships, including the 2018 Indoor Championship in the 3,200 meter run, wow. The 2000 Outdoor Championship in both the 1,600 and 3,200 meter runs, and the 2018 4A Cross Country Championship. Carmen was recognized as a North Carolina High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete in her freshman year, which requires students to have a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Carmen not only strives to be the best she can be, but she also encourages her teammates to be the best they can be as well. Congratulations, Carmen. Principal Phillips, I did see her. And members of the Alder family, please stand and be recognized.
Hey, coach. And the coach.
And Coach.
Yeah. Congratulations, Carmen.
I would like to formally recognize Coach John Buckholz in the back and any members of his staff.
Very inspiring. Thank you. Dr. Grimacy, we have the program highlight for today.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, I'll invite Ms. Dixon to help us feature our program highlight of the month.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Grimacy, members of the board. Ms. Karen Relisky from Pinecrest High School and I have the opportunity to share with you the work-based learning opportunities that the Career Tech Education Program here offer for our students through internships and apprenticeships and job shadowing. So we'd just like to share a little bit with you tonight. Work-based learning in CTE happens for all of our students. You are required as a student to have at least three opportunities in work-based learning, and those opportunities may reflect business and industry job shadowing, internships, apprenticeships, and the job shadowing opportunities can come as presentation guests to the school versus the students going to the site for those opportunities. A little bit more in detail of the opportunities that we have to offer. Business and industry field trips with guest speakers are pretty self-explanatory. We've had an awesome turnout this semester with businesses who have come and stakeholders from the community who have shared opportunities with our students, which you're going to see a little bit more. Job shadowing, these are usually half-day opportunities for our students. And then we have internships. We are blessed to have many opportunities for our students who have direct supervision under various business and stakeholders, and those folks become their mentor as they go through these opportunities, and we are working to develop a pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship program which offer our students paid apprenticeships and opportunities for the future. This year we are excited about the expansion that our middle school students have had the opportunity to participate in. This has been new for the 2018-19 school year, and our middle school students have been able, with the help of their career development coordinators, to visit Sandhills Community College, Randolph Community College, Montgomery Community College, and then second semester we'll be able to go to Meridian Kiosk as well for some job shadowing opportunities. These folks from our community have come in and spoke with our students at all of our middle schools, which we are extremely thankful for those opportunities to fulfill some of their job shadowing work-based learning opportunities. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Relisky to talk with you a little bit more about her experience with job shadowing and what we offer here in the district.
Good evening.
Good evening, Karen.
So in our job shadowing program in the high schools, we do offer many job shadowing experiences with First Health more regional. So you can see from the slide here that 9 students have already completed a job shadow this school year, and we have 30 plus applications that are in the works, and you can imagine it does take some time with the paperwork on those. In health science, we have 19 students this semester who are actually practicing their patient care skills at the inn at Quail Haven. So we're very proud, very pleased to have that many. And I will also say that we have a young lady who received her Certified Nurses Aid 1 certification, passed the test last year from Pinecrest, and she is now over at Fox Hollow Senior Living, and she is actually working while she's also taking nursing at Sandhills and with UNC Pembroke in their ribbon program. Internships do require a development between the career, technical education curriculum, and our students' learning competencies. So you can see on the slide here that it does allow students to observe and participate in the daily operations. In job shadowing, they don't get quite so much in the participation side. So here's the value of the internships. They do have to log 135 hours per semester in order to receive a career and technical education credit for that internship. It is a collaboration between the teacher in the classroom teaching the content, the student, and the business partner, the employer, the supervisor. And then as career development coordinator, overseeing to be sure there's proper evaluations done and that we make on-site visits. So we're very proud of our internship. Let's meet some of our students who have chosen internships. Here's a young man, Chad, from Union Pines, and he has been an intern with J.M. McLeod Farms in Carthage, and he has a little bit he'd like to say to us.
Hello, my name is Chad Simpson. I am in 12th grade. I'm 17 years old. I go to school at Union Pines High School. I am in the internship for my 4th period class, so after 3rd period I leave school and I go to my job. My job, I work for probably the biggest tobacco farmer in Moore County, J.M. McLeod Farms on Farm Life School Road. They have roughly 700 acres of tobacco and 1,200 acres of soybeans, 400 acres of corn, 60 acres of sweet potatoes, and now about 20 acres of hemp. They got it going on. But I'm here to talk to you today about how my job got me start with my internship program. My ag classes that I took at Union Pines, they influenced my decision quite a bit as far as my career development and which way I want to go with my life. My ag teacher, Thad Davis, he had a pretty significant role on my decision, and he basically got my job where I'm at now, so I got a big thanks to him. But my job, it really lets me know what I like to do and what I don't like to do. Gives me a lot of decisions and choices on things that I got going on now, because I grow some corn myself. I have about 15 acres that I grow myself. I get to go home after school and work at my job, and then go home and then work my own job with my own crops, so it's pretty fun. I enjoy it a lot. It's definitely been an eye-opener for where I want to go with my career, for sure, because before I just wanted to go work, you know, any old job. It didn't matter where, as long as I was making money. But now I've got to understand that there's actually things that it means more than money. You got to be happy with what you do, and I like agriculture. It makes me happy. So I enjoy the intern program, and I enjoy the little partnership that CTE has with it and everything that they do for me. So
I'm looking forward to going to Chad's farm, his table. Auto Service is represented here by Anthony. He is a senior at Pinecrest. And so earlier this semester, he became employed by Southern Pine Chevrolet Buick GMC dealership. And he is working on his journaling every day and trying to capture all of the skills that he's practicing, that he has learned in the classroom. He'll continue in our Auto Service 2 program in the honors class in the spring. And he and his employer, myself, have already articulated goals that he's going to continue to achieve with Auto Service 2. Corey also is in our automotive service. He's over at Jason Tire and Auto, if you're familiar with them, in Aberdeen. And Gavin is from Union Pines. He has been over at Thomas Tire. So they've been a very strong partnership with us on internships. In business management, we were very thankful to Ms. Hugh Taft's Pinehurst Realty Group. This summer, Brianna was able to log about 60 hours during the summer, so you see it expands beyond just the school year for them to practice these skills. It was interesting that she said she had practiced some customer service skills in the classroom that she was able to use this summer, and it was interesting to note that she had not done much on the telephone, and this kind of pushed her out of her comfort zone, and she was able to learn those communication skills. And Miriam from Northmore, she had a very incredible, I think, experience in her internship with the town of Robbins. She not only was able to look at their budgeting process, what ordinances are about, how the town manages the money, but it's interesting that they actually taught her how to take the utility bill payments and even do some collection and being sure that was entered accurately into their computer system. So very significant work that she did. In health science, Megan from Union Pines has
Hi, my name is
interned.
Megan Jackson. I completed the Health Science Career Cluster at Union Pines High School. I am the Sand Hills Region Representative on the North Carolina HOSA Executive Council, and I also work at the National Athletic Village. Both the Health Science Career Cluster and HOSA has given me the leadership skills that I need to form good relationships with camp members and effectively lead camps at the National Athletic Village.
And then in public service, Wesley from Union Pines has been in the North Carolina State Highway Patrol High School program. So public safety is even yet another area that our students can internship in. And you've noticed that a number of these students also participate in what we call our CTSOs, our career technical student organizations, where they learn leadership skills. And you see that their officers are members of those organizations. Ms. Dixon will finish us up with some more information on apprenticeships.
As you can see, our career development coordinators and our community partners have really come together and are offering our students a tremendous amount of opportunity here in our community. And we are excited at all of the work that these students have done and that they will continue to do next semester. As we work to develop apprenticeships and pre-apprentice programs, you'll notice that these opportunities are paid programs for our students, which is always enticing. And we have two companies. We're not quite ready to come public with those companies at this time, but we are working with two companies in the area to provide students with those apprenticeships, and we look forward to being able to bring some information and highlight those students in the near future. So, any questions?
Has it been difficult to recruit companies to assist with these internships and apprenticeships and job shadowing?
There's a little bit of stigma that has come with apprenticeships, so we're trying to re-educate that those requirements have changed and are a little bit more flexible with the state now than what they used to be. So that is bringing a lot more folks to the table. We have had an incredible amount of support for our internship program and look forward to bringing more folks to the table. As you can see, it's really growing. It's a growing opportunity.
Well, it's great to see the student input on that and what they take away from this. So.
Yes, they're excited and we're excited. Great opportunity.
Madam Chair, with your permission?
Yes, please.
Ms. Dixon, also clarify the insurance question that came up at the Business Advisory Council, if you would, please.
In the past, businesses had to have a separate policy or either add our students onto their policy, which is not feasible for small businesses oftentimes in the area. Now, thankfully, the state has afforded us the opportunity to kind of umbrella under our own insurance policy with CTE so that we can afford students those opportunities moving forward. So I think now that we have that stigma out of the way, you're going to see this program pick up some momentum.
Big stumbling block to get rid of, so good.
Is it difficult to place students in health-related fields? I know there's so many stipulations about privacy.
Yeah, it is difficult. We are able to do a lot with our Certified Nursing Assistant program. Some of that red tape is alleviated for those students, and they are able to come in and practice their skills. But for other students who aren't looking to go through the CNA path, it is difficult just with federal law to get them in. But there are some opportunities that we can provide.
That's great.
There's a Medical Explorers post over at First Health, and that also gives them tremendous opportunity and helps kind of bypass some of those questions about the privacy and the insurance questions.
I was impressed by the first one. I can't remember his name, who was at McLeod's farm, and who's Chad, who said that it's not more than just about a paycheck now. It's about what he loves to do, and to learn that at 17, 18 is huge. How many of us learned what they loved?
Not at 17.
Not at 17 or 18. So that's a great intangible that comes out of this, I think. So thank you.
Man, I have a question. Can you integrate these with what's going on at Sand Hills Community College? Have you been able to do that?
Anytime you're in an apprenticeship program, it's a dual enrollment, so they will obtain college credit as well as their high school credit. And oftentimes, those apprenticeship programs will extend past high school where they can obtain. And you have to have a community college partnership, which we're working very closely with Sand Hills on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Right. next we have our consent agenda.
Madam Chair, move a consent agenda be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Did we give you enough time to get up there, Dr. Grimsey?
No, ma'am. We should have slowed down a little bit. Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm pleased to commend the following board members for their devotion to school board training and development during the past year. In recognition of their commitment to continuous improvement, the North Carolina School Boards Association has issued the following awards. First, Ms. Stacy Caldwell and Dr. Betty Wells Brown have earned the NCSBA Certificate of Achievement. Let's give it up. Whoop, whoop. And lastly, the king of training and development, Mr. Ed Dennison, has earned the NCSBA's Scholar Circle Certificate. Well done, sir. And I just would be remiss if I didn't express to Ms. Phillips and anybody associated with the Pinecrest family for the stellar representation of our Pinecrest football program on behalf of all of Moore County on Friday night. The number of fans for the Pinecrest football team at least matched the number of fans for the home Wake Forest High School. And I've got to say that the Wake Forest High School football program is one of the most impressive that I've ever experienced in all the years that I've been associated with school athletics, in terms of not only their physical ability, but their capacity to capitalize on another team's few mistakes, and their poise and their discipline. But that said, even under the most adverse circumstances as we got into the second half, we couldn't ask anything more from our Moore County representatives on the field. On that night, they happened to wear green and gold, but they truly, truly did represent all of us and represented us well. I think it's also significant to note that their theme for this year was unity. I think a lot of people, including their coaching staff, would agree that there may have been Pinecrest teams that were bigger and faster and stronger in the past, but no team ever played as well together as this team. And so it is my privilege to count myself as a bystander and chronicler of their success and what they've achieved, and of course also very proud of our coach Chris Metzger and the community's support of his designation as U.S. Cellular National Most Valuable Coach. So as I close, let's give it up for Pinecrest High School. Madam Chair, members of the board, that completes my report. I remain at your service.
Thank you, Dr. Grimsey. All right, we have public address to the board. Vice Chair Carter.
We do have speakers signed up for this evening. A reminder that each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and we do have a timer that is set, so I'd ask that you please try and keep your comments to within that 3-minute time. Our first speaker this evening is Isabella Riley. Come right on up to the stand.
Awesome.
When you're ready.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabella Riley, and I'm currently a senior at Union Pines High School. Speaking about Union Pines High School, let's address all the other names we have in this county. Pinecrest, Sandhills Farm Life, Aberdeen, Northmore, Cranes Creek, and West Pine Middle School. These are just a few of the names that are named after geological features. In fact, every school in Moore County is named after a geological feature. I'd like to take everyone back and remind everyone that this new Area 1 elementary school is a school that our county fought so hard for the right to construct. I remember my teachers taking valuable time out of their lesson plan to explain to me and my friends why it was so critically important to have another elementary school. We were repeatedly told to vote in favor of constructing the new elementary school, followed by all the benefits it would bring. This county spent months fighting for a new school, and in return, we decided to name it after a tree. This isn't a policy, it's merely a false tradition. I understand that tradition is important. However, transforming a generation of children is more important than this basic and repetitive tradition of naming schools after geological features. It's time to throw away this old tradition and replace it with something new, something powerful. Today I stand with other individuals in the hope to name the new elementary school after Samantha Davis.
I firmly believe that naming the school after Samantha would create a long-lasting impact for each and every student that attends. I'm currently attending Sandhills Community College through the Sandhills Promise at Union Pines. At Sandhills Community College, I am taking sociology. A few weeks ago, we watched the video, A Class Divided. This video was about an elementary school teacher who taught her students the ideas of racism and discrimination through an eye color lesson. 17 years later, these students reported back how that one lesson changed their entire lives. They went on to teach their friends, families, and spouses this lesson. This video helped me realize how much one lesson can truly impact someone's life. By naming this new school after another pine tree, we are restraining the full potential of each and every student who steps foot in this school. Naming this elementary school after Samantha will allow every student that attends to have a role model and live in her legacy. If there's one thing Moore County Schools has taught me, it's to say something when someone is in the wrong. Moore County School Board, I hate to say it, but you are in the wrong. You are ignoring a chance to change an entire community. We cannot continue to grow to greatness if you are the ones holding us back. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Our next speaker is Sophia Felicetta. Is that correct? Felicetta? Is that how you say it? Okay, I got it. All right. You're ready.
Okay. Good evening, members of the Moore County School Board, parents, and friends of Samantha. Tonight, we not only remember Samantha Rose Davis, our close friend, running buddy, and sister in Christ, but look forward to the legacy she leaves behind. As I think about the future of the elementary school on Camp Easter Road and the students who will soon walk its halls, I think about whom in particular they are taught to exemplify today. What role model is the cover for the posters that line school hallways or are pictured on their scholastic bookmarks? Who are kids to look up to and strive their hardest to emulate? Kids today are constantly encouraged to look up to heroes who provided extensive accomplishments to their world. Popular characters float through kids' minds and serve as a constant reminder that they are striving for a goal that is simply out of reach. At times like these, we remember that what is most important is being someone who leaves each moment better than how we found it. I could go on for hours with countless stories of how Samantha did exactly that, and how every interaction she faced was a realization of that truth. But if you met her, this is something that you would already know. You already know that one glance from her radiant face could open your heart to an unspeakable joy. You would know her determination and hardworking spirit not only fueled her way through band, cross-country, multiple AP classes, and track, but pushed everyone around her to do the same. You would already know that Samantha had a way of laughing so hard that it would overtake her entire body and become a beacon of love. Samantha was the epitome of a loving, beautiful, smart, determined, talented, sweet, and caring modern-day hero. The courage and strength that her heart contained was continuously bursting at the seams and spilling over into the lives of people around her. Her simple characteristic of being wholly herself allowed her to make the world a better place, one conversation at a time. This is who Samantha was, through and through, herself. She was the ultimate example of all the typical posters that will soon fill the classrooms of this school. I want these kids to look at a cheesy poster and think of Samantha. I want these kids to be as encouraged as I and everyone she has ever met to be just like she was. Samantha was more of a hero than any comic book or film superhero, and someone who we ought to remember for decades to come. Members of the school board, I ask you tonight to honor a beloved friend and exemplary member of our community. Let's not let this school be named after yet another sentiment to a pine tree, but instead take this opportunity to pay tribute to an extraordinary local hero, Samantha Rose Davis. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Allison Richard.
Good evening. My name is Allison Richard. I am a current senior at Union Pines High School, and I was a very close friend of Samantha Davis's. When I think of the qualities that I want my younger siblings and their friends in the future of our county and generation to inhabit, I could name 1,000 terms. But those that come to mind first are loving, strong, determined, intellectual, supportive, hardworking, patient, selfless, and friend. These ideals describe no one better than Samantha Rose Davis, a role model to all who were fortunate enough to meet her. From her dedication to the Union Pines Band to her determination to succeed, both academically and athletically, she was the role model student. But more importantly, she was a role model human being. Always a friendly and warm presence, she was the epitome of joy and love. She was always the one to sit with and befriend the shy new kid. And I should know, I was that shy, socially awkward new kid my freshman year at Union Pines. Yet Sam took me into her loving embrace and changed my life for the better. She did this with any and all new students she met. She had no hesitation to open herself up and accept and cherish all of us. I remembered the Monday after this tragedy occurred. Our beloved cross-country coach, Nathaniel Carter, brought us all into the cafeteria and told us to talk about Sam. The testimonials were as incredible as she was. They showed her vast impact on our community from cross-country to band. Yet the most important thing I'll always remember about that is that Coach Carter compared Samantha to the sun, and that every aspect of her was the rays affecting each and every one of us. Her warm demeanor and selfless attitude combined with her dedication to her school life is truly inspiring. Should we not try to instill this same demeanor and kindness in our future students? Is it not our duty to help students flourish in the best possible way? So now I ask the school board to reconsider this list that you've put out and ask themselves this imperative question. What real significance does a name relating to a geographical feature have in comparison to a role model like Samantha Rose Davis? Please help us keep Samantha's beautiful legacy shining bright in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Meredith Richard. Is that correct?
Thank you for letting me have a few brief moments of your time. I am Meredith Richard, parent to a graduate of Union Pines, 3 current students at UP, and a 5th grader. My family has lived in Moore County since 2011, and I am also here to respectfully ask you to reconsider your naming of the new elementary school on Camp Easter Road and name it after Samantha Davis. While I do understand there is no precedent in Moore County for naming a school after an individual, I would argue that now is the time to make a change. Be brave. Show the students of our county that just because something has never happened before doesn't mean it isn't possible to do it now. After all, until last week, no Pinecrest team had ever made it to the Final Four in football. I'm not asking you to name the school after Samantha because she died tragically. By that standard, there would sadly be too many wonderful individuals that were lost too soon worthy of consideration. Instead, I am asking you to name the school after a person who was truly a shining example of what every Moore County student should strive to be. Samantha was an excellent student, a talented athlete, and a gifted musician. And yet, with all of that, her greatest quality was her open heart, her genuine kindness, and her compassion for her fellow students. If you ever met Samantha, I know that you already know that. And if you didn't meet her, I am sorry that you missed out on knowing a truly tremendous person who had the amazing quality of making everyone she met feel important. What a legacy to give our future students. You can do the easy thing and name the school after the road it's on or the trees around it, or you can be brave. You can give the new elementary school a name that will inspire every student who walks through its doors to be the best person they can be, academically, athletically, artistically, but most of all, by how they treat other people. That is what Samantha did every single day. Be Samantha strong. Be brave. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Lori Dargenio. Do you not plan to speak? No. Okay. All right, then our last speaker is Anthony, and Anthony, cannot read your last name. Munoz, okay.
My name is Anthony Munoz, and I graduated Union Pines with the class of 2018. I'm not a fool. I'm pretty smart. I got a 4.8 GPA as I graduated. To do this, I had to undergo an immense amount of studying and place forth more effort than roughly 95% of my class. I understand why you guys don't want to name the new school after Samantha. I really do, because there's a lot of potential candidates and a lot of people that are equally or more so deserving. So I completely understand. But I still fiercely believe that you guys should name it after Samantha, or at least somebody important. Because there's one thing that the Moore County school system couldn't teach me, and that's happiness. During my entire learning career at Moore County Schools, I have always suffered from symptoms of off and on depression, feeling like I don't matter, and an intense sensation of derision from my peers, simply because I just didn't feel like I belonged. But I noticed during the funeral service, Samantha's dad said that everybody should increase their charisma in the community by 10%, and we'll have more Sams in the community. So I didn't know what this meant, as I has always been a selfish recluse. But a few weeks ago, Isabella came up to me and said, "Hey, Anthony, help me with this petition." So, oh, my bad. I helped her with the petition to name the new elementary school after Samantha, and this now has 1,700 supporters. This was the first time that I had ever felt like I had done something good for the community, honestly. And then a fire grew within me. I found out about Josh Manus, who was one of my classmates who graduated with me, and he has a pretty bad situation at home. So, taking what Isabella had taught me, I got my coworkers together, and we started a GoFundMe for him. And within the past 7 days, we've raised $1,200 for him, with more funds still coming. And it makes me feel like a complete person, deep down, although the Moore County school system did not teach me that, unfortunately. But what if the Moore County school system did teach students how to be charitable and find meaning in their life? So I want you to listen. If within just 1 month I was able to raise $1,200 and 1,700 signatures, imagine what I could have done at Union Pines and New Century before I graduated if I received the tools before. So let's teach our youngest generation how not to be just great students, but excelling members in society. If we were to name the new elementary school after Samantha and teach the 540 future students of Samantha Davis Elementary how to increase charisma by 10%, we can forge 54 new Samantha Davises in this community, and that would be stellar for Moore County and the Moore County school system, honestly. This would be the greatest gift that would keep giving for generations to come, and this gift would stick to our students for a lifetime of charitability and selflessness to circulate as well-oiled cogs in our community.
Thank you. And that concludes our list of public address.
Thank you all for coming today and for your presence. We normally don't respond. We do have an opportunity here for board comments, and I would like to take the opportunity to provide some response to this. First of all, I really want to offer my deepest sympathy to all of you who knew and loved Samantha. I did not know Samantha personally. I have certainly learned so much from you today, but I also learned so much just by attending the funeral service. And I remember after her funeral, I came to a board meeting, and I talked about what I learned at that funeral service, and mostly from her father, who talked just what you talked about, which is how if we all gave 10% more, what that would mean for our community and what that would mean for the world. And that really touched me. And I felt that you all here today are doing the same, that you are honoring her and you are bringing forward this feeling of what we can each do individually to make a difference in the world. And I so appreciate that. I really do. I know that you are all aware of our practice not to name entire schools after individuals. And this particular year has been actually very difficult for the Moore County school system and our community. We have lost a long-time Moore County Schools teacher and a strong advocate in our schools. School board member Charles Lambert. Ms. Thompson has taken his seat. Earlier in the summer, we lost Union Pines graduate Cooper Ellington. Southern Pines primary student L.J. Numbers, he died earlier this fall. I'm sorry, it's hard to say all these names. I don't know how you all got through your speeches, because I know how much you feel for Samantha. We've also lost a lot of community members that have meant a lot to our entire community. I think about Linda Hubbard, who started the Backpack Pals program. I think about Felton Capel, Capel, who was very instrumental when Pinecrest began, and Fred Walden, just recently, a Southern Pines council member. They have all shown considerable commitment not only to Moore County schools and the service that they have provided to the schools, but also to the community at large. Our practice instead has been to encourage family and friends to work with schools to consider some meaningful recognition that could honor the student or staff member at the campus where they had the most impact, where there were the most memories. And ways to honor an important individual in the life of a school have been numerous, but they include things like naming the gyms or the tracks or the auditorium, so naming a part of the facility where that student or staff member had the most impact. There's also an opportunity to create lasting memorials through playgrounds, gardens, and those types of things, or even starting new programs where you can have awards or scholarships, campaigns. I think about a hashtag 10% more, something like that. There are other opportunities to share her memories that could even reach a larger community, not just the elementary school, but even the entire Moore County. So the board would be very interested in hearing your thoughts in the future on how to preserve her being, how to preserve her kindness, are the ways to bring that into our school system and touch even more students. I think that would be something that we would be interested in hearing. My heart is with all of those of you who knew and loved Sam, and I truly admire for you to come here today and to share your experiences with her, and for the petition. I want you to know that we share your compassion, and this is obviously difficult. I don't know how you were, but it is very difficult to hear what a beautiful woman she was and know that she's no longer with us, but to know that she's within each of your hearts and within your knowledge of who she is, and you're going to carry that through. I know you will. The world is very bright knowing that there are students like you who care and who take action and who are active in your community, and I do appreciate you coming here today, and I'm proud of each and every one of you for being here and for taking a stand. Did anybody else want to have any comments during this time? No?
I would like to say that as I listened to each one of the students, I felt like I was watching part of Samantha Davis here in this room, because everyone was evidence of the positive impact. I unfortunately did not know her, but I sort of feel like I do now. I want to also echo what Chair Wallenmiller has said. I've been on the board 14 years, and during that time, a substantial number of facilities, like rooms, tracks, libraries, stadiums, and so forth, have been named in honor of a person associated with that particular school. And want to encourage everyone who appeared, everyone who signed the petition, everybody who was supportive to consider what I call the third option. I remember the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, Patrick Coughlin, gave a speech to the board one time about the notion that if you can't get everything that you want, get what is the essence of what you want. And I think Chair Wallenmiller mentioned there are a number of third options that we would be happy to consider, because for every member of this board, the most important thing that motivates us is teaching students and the importance of learning from your fellow students and the impact that they have. So I agree with the policy that we have about naming entire schools after individuals because it leads down a road that's very difficult to handle. I've already had people from other schools come to me and say, well, this person who was a member of such and such and such and such was a great inspiration to the students. And so we get into a situation where it's very difficult to draw a line, but we appreciate the passion that you have. I was impressed with every single one of the students who spoke, and as I say, I think I know Samantha Davis better as a result. Thank you for being here.
And I just want to add too, I echo what you guys were saying, and it takes a lot of courage to stand up there and speak your heart out. And I applaud you for that. And I know this is very hard to do. It's not easy. And I mean, I was nervous just doing my little speech I had to do earlier. So I know that it takes a lot from you guys. And Anthony, you matter. That's all I gotta say is you matter. Know in your heart what you do each day matters. Okay? I want you to know that. That's it.
Did I understand that Sam's parents are here today?
They are, Rebecca.
John
Cody.
Rebecca, right here.
It was you who I heard from at the funeral. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. And do we need a break? Keep going. Should we take?
Yeah, let's take
like
a break.
5 minutes.
Yeah, we're scheduled to take a break.
Yeah, to let people leave. if they
Yeah.
need to. Let's take a break.
Gonna take 2 minutes?
I don't think they'll leave till after we do.
We'll take a 2-minute break.
Go ahead.
All right, the first item under board action is the student assignment plan.
Yeah, Madam Chair, during the school board's December 3rd organizational meeting and work session, Mr. Barath presented a final student assignment plan for the new elementary school on Camp Easter Road. The executive summary simply reviews the activities that we were engaged with, all of which the board is very familiar. The review of the timeline is here just for the record. Mr. Barath and I are available for any questions, but you'll recall that at the work session, the staff and the superintendent recommended that the board consider a motion to approve the proposed student assignment plan for the new road on Camp Easter, for the new school on Camp Easter Road as it was presented at that time. And just for the record, we've got a copy of the new zone up for your discussion and any final questions you might have. We're available to facilitate whatever motion you'd like to make at this time.
Are there any comments or discussion points on the proposed plan?
I appreciate the intense amount of work that's been done to get us to this point. Lots of time for public comment has been, I think, handled so very, very well, and having been able to hear the comments and to know that they were truly each one handled and followed up on makes me feel very good about the assignment plan as it's set up, and that we should be able to proceed and know that there's a big group of kids who are going to go to an incredible new school.
Thank you. On behalf of Tim Locklear, we appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think just being a part of that too, seeing that how many times we adjusted it because of comments that we heard or situations from the public. So I think that you guys really did a great job on that too.
And I appreciate the outline that we started with because it gave us good guidance. So I really appreciate being a part of this and having the parents and community participation. It was a long road, but a good one to follow.
And my comment is I don't think there shouldn't be anybody that hasn't had an opportunity to say what they think. And we've listened to everything that's been told to them and made revisions for that. So I've never seen anything that any schools are doing here or in Michigan, something of this magnitude where the public has been so involved and given plenty of time to give feedback. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just one of the many good things that I thought Numerics brought to the process was the constant reminder of bringing us to what was the reason that we built that school in that place, because it kept things focused. And I think, don't you have something on your wall, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, or something like that? I think I think they kept us focused on where we were going and why we were wanting to go there.
I think the only final comment I'd make is that I think we're really well set up now that we've gone through this process to do this again for the other three schools. And I know that you and Numerics have laid out what the next phase is going to look like, and how we'll refine this process going forward in terms of the final student assignment for all the other schools as well in the months ahead. So I appreciate that we have spent the amount of time that we have on this one to set us up well for the next phase. So, and I did go back and I watched our discussion on October 29th, and we covered a lot of ground on that day when we looked at the final plan that had been submitted to us before we approved that for public comment. So I'm appreciative of all the work that you as a board, all of us have done as a board to keeping up to date with the conversations and really digging into this. So,
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I move that the student assignment plan presented for the new elementary school on Camp Easter Road be approved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, wait, hold on. Is there any other discussion?
Were you done with your comments?
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am now. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Good work, everybody. That was tough.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just to mark the occasion on that decision, John, I think it's approximately 540 students. Mary Kate, is that what you've been reporting that'll move into the new school? for just next year, and then it'll be more the year after that. So about 540, about 60 from Vast Lakeview, 470 from Sandhills Farm Life. And with that action, it is our intention, and we believe we're going to achieve this, it will not be a single modular unit at Sandhills Farm Life for the first time in anybody's memory. John, is that
That and Vast Lake.
reasonable? Vast Lakeview, maybe we'll have another modular or two until we sort out a few other reassignment issues for next year. But a significant action on your part, and I compliment you in doing so. Very historic decision on that part. And the building, we toured it on Friday, and a lot of glass going in now, and we'll be pouring flooring even within the next 10 working days?
In the next 2 months.
Within the next 2 months, okay. So we're making significant progress at this point. So thank you very much on that.
May I make one other comment,
Yes,
too?
sir.
Just so the public understands, the building is going to be for 800 students. But not knowing it's going to be a few more years before the other schools are finished, we wanted to make sure we had flexibility. We didn't want to assign students to a school now and then later have to change the assignment because demographics change some. So we do have a little flexibility as the new schools are built, that we can be more accurate with our student assignments to make sure that we have the right amount going to the right schools. Thank you.
And John, 5th grade for Vast Lakeview Elementary will be in the building, correct? They won't be in the building across the street? Right? We're going to work on that, right?
We have not determined the final location on that school campus of where each grade class will be. That is something we'll be working through with the leadership at the school now.
Okay. I would like, if you could update me on that, that would be great.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Yes, ma'am. The next item is the naming of the new elementary school on Camp Easter Road. I think our speakers tonight had very good command of this issue and articulated their awareness of the process that we've undergone. Staff is constrained by school board practice, and so we recommended names that were in compliance with school board regulation and policy and practice. The justification for those 5 names we've articulated previously. It was reviewed at the last work session. So it was the staff's responsibility and the school superintendent's responsibility to offer the board with those 5 names that were within the guidelines provided for that. For that reason, the superintendent's recommendation remains general, that I recommend that you consider a motion to select the name for the new elementary school on Camp Easter Road, and it is the board's prerogative on what that name is. Our job was to make sure that you were provided with all the information that you needed to have. So as I told some people during the break, I have no idea what the name of this school is going to be, and I look forward to your further discussion. Mr. Barath and I are available to answer any questions about the work the staff has done to bring you to this place, but we respect the board's prerogative on this.
So board members, what comments do you have?
Well, it's definitely time to talk. Once I got over the fact that you did not accept my suggested names, something more elementary, or all this and more elementary, or a little bit more elementary. I got over it, since my names did not make the final 5.
There were a few that we eliminated, but just very few, and that was 3
All
of
of
5.
mine, all of mine were eliminated, that's right. This is just a marvelous thing tonight to get to pick a name for a new school, because it will be around a long time after we are. Obviously, we are down to 5. We've been wrestling with these 5 names for, 4 months now, through public solicitation for names, through portals on the website that allowed people to solicit or comment on the names that were chosen. So obviously, we've got to get to it. I will go ahead and say I don't care at all for Pine Meadow Elementary or Piney Woods Elementary. I think we've overdone on the Pines in this whole county, not just with schools, but with a lot of other things, townships, towns, clinics. There we have them. So they would not be high on my list of selections for this school. If anyone else wants to weigh in, I can move on and tell you what my choice is, and
Well, I agree with you, Libby. Those 2 are out. Outside of that, it really doesn't matter to me.
Well, personally, I favor McDeeds Creek Elementary School. I like the reference to the historical beginnings of our county, knowing that there was a McDede here in Moore County back in 1757. And I know that Bruce knows a lot more about the history of Moore County than I happen to, but I do like that historical reference in the name of the school.
I like McDeeds Creek, but I have a preference for Fairway, primarily because it meets the needs of what we do in part of this community and how it was established as a golf area. I also, as a former educator, look at the names and what's going to be easy to put on paper and for the students to spell. I'm sorry, that comes with the education background. And so that's, I don't have a lot of history behind mine, but I look at what they can look at for colors and for mascots. And
Well, I
Fairway,
think that's why I like McDeeds Creek. I could see the McDeeds Creek Highlanders or the McDeeds Creek Lads and Lassies, or something along those lines.
They get to pick.
I know
they make
those
mascots.
choices, but
Yeah.
I'm envisioning where we would go this. That's why I can't see the Piney Woods Elementary and a bunch of trees.
Well, and I had the same
yeah.
problem with Camp Easter, quite frankly. I had a hard time thinking about what that would look like in terms of a mascot or colors or something like that. So I did have trouble with, that was probably one of my least favorites. But I agree that for me, I favor McDeeds Creek too. I think it sounds, it has a nice alliteration to it. But I like the historical reference, the fact that there's a creek in the back, it ties us to the county in that.
as long as it doesn't flood.
Yes, as long as it doesn't flood. Good point. What other thoughts do folks have?
I have to agree. I like McDeeds Creek. I think I didn't enjoy Camp Easter just because some of the history that I found on that I wasn't a fan of. But McDeeds Creek was probably my favorite. I didn't like the piney ones. And Fairway just reminded me too much of golf, and we have a lot of that going on too. So that's fine.
I too was thinking about the McDeeds. That was similar to what we did back with Cranes Creek,
you were here for that.
2008,
Okay.
2009 timeframe. There was a lot of history in that area with regard to the naming of that school. So that was one of my selections was McDeeds, and seems to be very appropriate.
I think it's important that students, at an early age, learn history of where they are and why things are. And as I was watching the the video of the presentation on the interns, and noticed McLeod's Farm. And I wondered how many people said, "Why is it called McLeod's Farm?" And it's because following the Battle of Culloden in 1747, the Highland Scots emigrated from Scotland to the Cape Fear region and up the river to Moore County. And that I agree, naming it after something that is historically significant is nice. Naming it after something like a stream or a river or some natural resource in the community, I think is nice. I'm not a big fan of road names. Camp Easter Road, and so I too would join in expressing my preference to McDeeds Creek.
Motion?
Can I make a motion? Madam Chair, I move that the name of the new Area 1 elementary school be McDeeds Creek Elementary.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
We have a new name. We have a new district. We have a new school. What what is next on the agenda? I think we have another, are there other comments from the board? Are there any final board comments?
Another in the long series of good meetings we've been having lately.
All right, well, the only thing I want to say is there are a lot of holiday programs going on right now, end of the semester programs. I know the board is trying to get to as many of them as we can. Do let us know about them. Many of them conflict. We're sorry if we can't make them all.
Especially Thursday.
Yeah, especially Thursday, and I'm on travel for work, so there's several that I have to miss. But I just know that we appreciate just a lot of the effort that is happening now at the end of the school year, at the end of the calendar year, as the elementary kids are trying to get out of school faster than anybody's business. So I appreciate all the teachers and the staff keeping things organized and moving forward as much as they can during this exciting time of year. And I wish all our performers just good performances and an enjoyable holiday season. Because we won't see each other until the new year.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So.
Madam Chair,
That is it. Yeah. Ed, are you?
are we ready?
I think Ed is ready to make a motion.
I move the meeting be adjourned.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries 7-0.
Those that jelly down.